What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and this is part 26. Wow. What I hope is a never-ending series of reviews and rankings of the Grateful Dead's Dave's picks. I'm reviewing them in order. So, started with number 1, and then as I review them, I rank them. So after 26, I will add 26 to the previous 25, and you will see where I rank this. But it is a 4-disc set, 3 discs and a bonus disc. And it is another pair, this time, of 71 shows. So if you've been watching this series, you'll know that the bottom 2 so far are 71 shows. Not because I think any of these shows are bad. I don't. However, on the list of dead tours and dead years that rank as my favorite, 71 and the shows thereof apparently are at the bottom of the list. Again, not bad shows, but that's where I rank them. This one's not going to be at the bottom of the list. This one is a little bit higher than the bottom. It's not in the upper, but I like this show much better than the other two. I'm not really sure why. I think in particular, the second disc, which is the second half of one of the shows, I think it's the entire second set maybe of one of the shows. One song plus the second set of one of the shows is spectacular. And I think that disc, rising tide lifts all boats type of thing. Plus, I don't know, the energy is good. The feels are good. I don't know. There's a vibe about this show that I just enjoyed more than the other 271 shows. So the 2 shows in question are November 17th and December 14th, 1971. Pigpen is not present at the first show, but he is present at the second show, if I'm not mistaken. Pigpen was out for the first show. Keith has been there about a month at this point, maybe a little over a month. The November 17th show was their first ever show in New Mexico. And so Pigpen had been back about 2 weeks after this, and then 2 weeks before the 14th show. So one of the highlights of all of these, whether Pigpen is there or not, is Keith. Keith sounds fantastic. Fantastic in the mix, fantastic what he's playing in the mix, fantastic his energy. He just seems like instead of just jumping in and filling in spaces, he's like driving some jams and being a little more, I don't want to say forceful, because his piano is so lively and perfect and just sounds so amazing that forceful makes it come across in a different way. But Keith sounds amazing. And I would imagine that if you were seeing the Dead in 71 and there was this new piano player and all of a sudden you go and hear these shows, you're like, oh dude, I love this guy. This is fantastic. He sounds amazing. And then in the second show in particular, the one that Pigpen's there are moments where you have a little bit of organ and piano at the same time, and that adds a really nice vibe. Pretty neat. The 11-17 show is in its entirety. That's disc 1 and 2. Disc 3 is the December 14th show, but selections from it. But the selections are put in, sequential order. So whatever appeared early in the show is early in the disc and later in the show, right? So if you literally go through the set list of the real show, you're pulling things out, but you're not rearranging it. And then the bonus disc is the rest of the material from the December 14th show, also put in sequential order, minus one song, Ramble on Rose. And if you took 3 and 4 and just meshed them together, you would have the complete show, minus Ramble on Rose. So, what do you get? You get what I think is a pretty typical 71 show. Some really good playing, really solid, pretty solid energy in both shows. Keith is spectacular. The playing for the most part is spectacular. Some good song choices. But it's the second set of the first show that to me is the thing. Okay, first disc, opens with a truckin', as does the December 14th show, also opens with a truckin'. One of the things that I think my appreciation for truckin' has grown deeper since I started this series. Whether it's opening a show, whether it's closing a show, as I think we just heard on the previous release, whether it's in the middle of a second set, whether it's at the end of a first set, wherever truckin' seems to appear, it always seems to work. Truckin' just works. Whether it's the launch pad for an epic jam, whether it's got a self-contained sort of closing epic jam, whatever it is, I like truckin'. I think I used to be like, oh, truckin', whatever, right? Either way. Now I'm like, looking forward to truckins. They seem to always provide some really good moments. This one, nice self-contained closing jam. Again, not the most spectacular out there thing you've ever heard, but it's solid. They're bringing the energy. It's a great start to the show. That's in both shows. Back to the 17th, first set, first CD. Truckin', sugary, beat it on down the line. If I'm not mistaken, this says 3 beats. Dun, dun, dun. Well, this job, 3 beats. Tennessee Jed, El Paso, Big Railroad Blues, always a fan of that. Jack Straw, Deal, Playing in the Band. Playing in the Band is, we're talking not even 7 minutes, so it's pretty much just like, they kind of remind me of a Fish stash, and that sort of closing playing, or that into the solo playing, dun, 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 that little riff is kind of always there in the solo, and it seems like they're just kind of toying with that. So it kind of reminds me of Fish's stash. And again, it's a really short, it seems like the entire play, and they're really just kind of dealing with that playing jam, and Jerry's just kind of soloing around it. But as a huge playing fan, like, I think if there was one song I would want to see at every show, or I'd like to hear every version of, it is Playing in the Band. So it's nice to hear these short versions. We get a Cumberland Blues, always up for a Cumberland. Me and My Bobby McGee, You Win Again, Mexicali Blues, Casey Jones, and a One More Saturday Night. And the Casey Jones on both of these, but particularly, I want to say it's on this one. No, the Casey Jones on the second show, on the December 14th one, that ending, the energy at the ending might be the best Casey Jones I've ever heard. I have always thought of Casey Jones as this weird anomaly in their repertoire. For me, it just doesn't sound like a Dead song for some reason. That one on the December 14th show, that kills. They nail that one, man. It's a pretty awesome one. This one is too, but that one just seems next level. But that's the end of the first set. Second set, you got a One More Saturday disc, first disc. Second disc, the second set. The first set, on the second disc, the first set finishes with One More Saturday Night. Then we get an incredible set two. Ramble on Rose, Sugar Mag, Cryptical Envelopment, drums, and then we get a do-do-do-do-do-do. We're off into the other one. And this other one is playful, it's fun, it's dynamic. We're kind of up and down, a little bit all over the place, but not in a chaotic way, just more in a like wee, wee, wee type way. We get a full-on feeling groovy jam before we even hit the first verse. Like, it is just, everybody is having a good time. Keith is particularly like pushing the jam in really good ways. There's this part when they're going through like typical other one playful territory, and the music kind of slows down, and Jerry digs in with what sounds like this almost like dun-dun-dun-dun, almost like a blues jam. Doesn't go into a blues jam, but it just kind of slows down, kind of gets heavy for like, I don't know, 25, 30 seconds or more before that momentum finally picks back up and we're back into like other one jamming territory. After that, then it goes really sort of like light and delicate and like airy and like not spacey, but just kind of beautiful. Like maybe, like Jerry's going to do a solo acoustic piece, but no, it's not there. We're just like getting very happy. And that's when we go into that feeling groovy jam. Yeah, just an all-around fantastic other one. That's even before we get to the first verse. Get the first verse. After the first verse, we get sort of your typical kind of slowly building other one energy. We're kind of playing around with that. And then we go into Me and My Uncle. Right smack dab after like what? About a good 11 minutes of the other one. We go into Me and My Uncle. Great Me and My Uncle. We come out of that. Again, we're just kind of hitting a little bit spacier. We get a little bit typical spacey Uncle other one energy for a while. But then all of a sudden it just gets like, the word jaunty is the word. It just feels almost like it's going to like a country vibe, like just a really like playful country vibe. But then we get some hardcore like aggressive playing, and it almost feels like it's me and my uncle, like it's a me and my uncle jam through a the other one prism, or the other one jam filtered through me and my uncle. But that me and my uncle lingers, like that vibe and that just that country and western feeling sticks around for the rest of that jam. And it's a pretty neat, upbeat, pretty compelling little moment. And then eventually we find our way into Wharf Rat. Things get a little funky, and then we go into Wharf Rat. But that other one, me and my uncle, other one, it's a total of 24 minutes total, is just fantastic. Like, it is like, if you were to put a box set together of 71 stuff, or even of early 70s stuff, I think this other one, even go Cryptical with the drums. I'll throw that in too. So you throw in a good 30 minutes of Cryptical, other one, me and my uncle throwing in there. Epic. Go into a really good Wharf Rat, and then a really fantastic Not Fade Away, going down the road feeling bad, Not Fade Away. And the Not Fade Away, at the end of this, you're just like, and again, it just goes on and on and on. And if you're not paying attention, you kind of lose fact of, wait, are we still in Not Fade Away? Have we gone into going down the road feeling bad? Because it's just this really confident, full of swagger, just this really good, the band on stage having a great time type jam. Yeah, just fantastic second set. Energy is fantastic, but the other one, me and my uncle, the other one, is ridiculous. I think it's like by far the best thing I think I've heard from a 71 show so far. And that's what we get for the first two discs, that complete November 17th show. Disc 3 and Disc 4, again, you have the totality of the December 14th show, minus Ramble on Rose. But here's what you get on the third disc. Another really solid truckin', Sugary. We get a Mr. Charlie, a Bidding on Down the Line. I think there's a couple more beats in that. I don't think there's 3 in that. Oh, no, that's 3 beats. I don't know what the first one was. This is the one that only has 3 beats. So whatever I said about the first one, it has more beats than 3, apparently. A Loser, really nice addition there. A Next Time You See Me, El Paso, Big Railroad Blues, me and my uncle. Another Run, Rudolph, Run, which we got on the other 71 releases. A Big Boss Man, You Win Again. And then we get a Not Fade Away, Going Down the Road, Feeling Bad, Not Fade Away. And this kind of has the same vibe. A little bit shorter than the previous one. But again, that Not Fade Away jam, it's like that jam just keeps on going and going and going, and then eventually they ease into Going Down the Road. But you're in this weird no man's land where it's not fade away, but it's also not committed to going down, and it's just this really just good momentum in that. But that's what you get on disc 3. And I think they picked the better of the things. I would have liked to have heard the playing in the band. I think you could have substituted out Truckin' again with playing in the band, maybe. But I do think they had almost identical set lists in the second set, where they both had an NFA, GDTRFB back in the NFA. And they both had the Cryptical Envelopment, the other one. The Not Fade Away is stronger on the 14th than the other one, and the other one is definitely not as strong as the one on the 17th. So I think it was good that they put the other one on the bonus disc. But what you get on the bonus disc, you get a Jackstraw, right? And we didn't get a Jackstraw. No, we did get a Jackstraw. But we get a Jackstraw to open, which is a neat disc opener, even though it wasn't opening shows yet. Tennessee Jed, Black Peter, playing in the band. Again, I would have liked to heard another playing in the band on the official disc and not the bonus disc. That fantastic Casey Jones. Mexicali Blues, another Cryptical drums, the other one, a Wharf Rat, and a Sugar Mag. And this other one is your pretty typical other one, right? You got some ups and downs, changing in tempo, kind of get spacey for a while. Keith is fantastic. Yeah. Very roller coaster before we even get to the first verse. Just kind of ups and downs, kind of going all over the place. But there seems to be like a thread, a momentum that kind of runs through it. It's not these abrupt shifts in style. But then after the first verse, we get what I like to call the flailing jam, in which everybody just seems to be flailing out at their instruments and trying to figure out what to do. But it doesn't come across as chaos or like deep space. It just comes across as like everybody's in their own little corner, like working out their own little licks before they all get together and like put it together to see how good they are. And so it's not really a cohesive jam, but it's interesting and it works and it feels held together because everybody, they're doing their own thing, but they're very conscious of the fact that everybody's doing their thing and people are watching. Then we finally start getting this really nice slow groove that works in the other one. And then we kind of just build up momentum back into the second verse. And Keith just sounds fantastic. But yeah, and then we get a Wharf Rat Sugar Mag to close out disc 4. So I don't know, some pretty good stuff. I definitely liked this 71 show much more than I liked the other two. Where would I rank it on there? I have my rankings ready to go, but I need to bring up the list. I know where it is. I just want to talk about it. So my rankings would go right there. Number 19. You'll notice the other two 71 shows are both 25 and 26. But really, good stuff. Like all three of these releases have really solid playing. Like there's no mistakes. It's just, there's nothing truly epic. And I don't think the song selections don't change very much from show to show, though there are some neat selections. But for me, disc 2 of this release, and that includes the One More Saturday Night to open with, it just, I don't know, kind of feels like a neat little opener, even though we then like quickly fade out and, have a little set break. I just think that other one, Me and My Uncle Other One, is just so spectacular that it jumps it all the way up to 19. Yeah, right above that 77 show. Still can't pass that 74 show. 74, I have a personal love for 74, so it's hard to beat one of those shows. But yeah, I comfortably put this in 19. Really, really, really solid show. At times, great. So yeah. Anyways, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. That's all I got to say. Subscribe, like, share, and go listen to music, people. Go listen to all of the music. Peace. Talk to you later.